my name is Karima and I am a self-confessed makeup brush addict. I just think the brushes are so crucial. Like, what good is investing in awesome makeup formulations if you're applying it with a subpar tool or a tool that doesn't quite fit the purpose? I rest my case. So today I'm showing you a very small curated kit of brushes that I couldn't live without. I will have lots of information in the description box, timestamps, links, stockists. Let's do this in kind of a chronological order, so the way in which perhaps I might apply these products. So foundation. I actually don't use brushes for foundation, haven't done for years. My favorite tools are my fingers and also beauty sponges. So the Beauty Blender, the white one, because the pink one started bleeding on me. I also like the Beauty Blender blusher, which is just that little bit smaller. I like the Real Techniques complexion sponge. It's just a little bit firmer than the Beauty Blender, works equally well. And this guy, this is the Real Techniques something or other. What are you called? I think I like beauty sponges because I've always enjoyed kind of pressing and patting the foundation onto the skin as opposed to a buffing or swiping motion that you might get with a brush. They're also really multi-purpose, so you can use them for your foundation, for your concealer, for your cream bronzer, for your cream blush. You can even use them to set your face. I feel like I don't need to say much more about these, right? If you haven't tried a beauty blender or similar, genuine question, where have you been? For under eye concealer, again, I don't use brushes. More often than not, I use a beauty blender or my fingers. Let's move on to spot concealing brushes. So we're talking a very precise application of concealer to perhaps a small blemish or a vein. I am extremely fussy about spot concealing brushes. My favorite is the Chanel 24, and this comes to a perfect point, but the fiber has quite a bit of give and it's really soft, so you can scribble around the edges of the blemish to really blend that concealer out to perfection. And this brush is discontinued. The runner-up spot concealing brush I have here is the Visine Pro 26. I purchased this in the Netherlands. I've never heard of this brand before, but it's a very small, flat brush. It's not quite like the Chanel. It's not as soft, so you don't get that same scribbling action, but it'll do. I'm being dramatic, it's an awesome brush. Okay, on to face powder or setting powder brushes. This is another category where I am just supremely fussy. My all-time favorite is the Wayne Goss airbrush. This is as soft as the SUQQU cheek brush, which is many times the price and is widely considered to be the softest brush ever made. If it came down to it, I actually prefer the Wayne Goss actually, because it has that flat paddle shape, so you get a directional quality to it. So what I would do is I would pick up the powder using the flat side, so not the point but the flat side, and then press onto the face. Now the combination of that very soft fiber and that powdering with the flat edge means that this will never ever disrupt your foundation. And I would know, because my foundation, it just wants to lift. If I even think about my foundation lifting, it will lift. This also doubles up as my favorite under eye setting powder brush because it's got that tapered edge, so you get a lot of precision. Some runners up for face setting powder, the aforementioned SUQQU cheek. This is more domed as opposed to the more flat paddle shape of the Wayne Goss, and also the Ray Morris Deluxe Pro Blender. So this is also a flat shape like the Wayne Goss airbrush, but it's a little bit shorter and a little denser. So you're going to get a little bit of a stronger powder application with that. You'll notice that all three of these brushes lean rather small, right? Because I don't powder my entire face. I precision powder. I want to be able to pick up my powder and just kind of take it a little bit on the side of the nose, the center of the forehead perhaps. If you do powder all over your face, I'm not sure that you will enjoy these for that purpose, just because they do run quite small. As for powder highlight, I tend to gravitate towards two particular shapes, a candlestick shape and a fan brush. So the Chikuhodo Z2 is an example of a candlestick shape. I would take the highlight just on the tip of this brush, and then as it makes contact with the skin, the surrounding bristles diffuse those edges. You just get a little bit more of a diffuse application. That's not to say that you won't get an intense highlight with this. Girl, who are we talking about here? But what it will do is just kind of blend the edges as you go. Beautiful brush, so soft. On the other hand, a fan brush, this will offer a more narrow application. So I'll go for a fan brush if I just want a really fine sliver of highlight just on the very tops of the cheekbones. I have a bunch of fan brushes from all different brands and I use them interchangeably. Love them all. My ride or die bronzer brush is the Chikuhodo Z4, one of my most used brushes actually. And again, quite a small face brush, so good for either small features or just anyone that wants a little bit extra precision. This is comprised of grey squirrel, which is the most plush, velvety, soft fiber. And soft face brushes are really key for me because anything coarse or scratchy will cause my damn foundation to lift. For blush, again, Chikuhodo Z4, I own a few of these. Super soft, doesn't disrupt my foundation. It's the perfect size for the cheek. If I were working with a really pigmented red blush, for example, I would then probably go for the SUQQU cheek just because it's not quite as dense, it doesn't pick up as much product. But 90% of the time, I am applying my blush with the Z4. Powder contour brushes. Again, I've got two. This is the SUQQU Eyeshadow L, which as the name suggests is a large crease brush, essentially. But I love this for shading just the very hollows of the cheekbone, where the face naturally casts a bit of a shadow for that very sharp bone structure look. This is not something that I would use to contour a round face. I think it works best on already angular features. I also love the Ray Morris Flawless Shader for contouring. This just offers a really quick and diffused contour, and that flat shape means that it's really great for under the cheekbones, around the temples, forehead, jawline, collarbone, bit on the nose, whatever you want. And it's very soft, obviously. On to cream face products, so your cream bronzers and your cream blushes. Typically I'll use a sponge to blend that out, or a synthetic brush, and here are some of my ride or die synthetics. The Real Techniques contour brush. This is quite a petite synthetic brush, and I really like it for precision application of blush on the apples of the cheek. The Zoeva 105 highlight brush, essentially the same thing. And then for more of a cream bronzer or larger application, I love the Real Techniques buffing brush, such a classic. And then the gold standard of synthetic brushes, IT Cosmetics. Man, these are pricey synthetics. I looked it up last night to remind myself and I was like, damn, did I spend that much on brushes? But they are just worth every penny to me. They're so velvety and plush and soft. I've legit washed this one hundreds of times and it still looks brand new. I love this double-ended one, really handy, but I haven't met an IT Cosmetics synthetic brush that I didn't love. Good stuff. I think that is all of the face brushes done, so shall we move on to the eye brushes? For those of you that are still here and that I've not yet bored to tears, large tapered brush, also known as a transition brush. So this is a large crease brush that you use to dust a transition shade above the crease. It's also really great for blending in between steps. Really crucial to have one of these brushes, especially if you're into your more complex eye looks. I have a fair few that I really enjoy in this category. Everything from Hakuhodo, Wayne Goss, Ray Morris. All of the fibers are uber soft, so they create transitions super seamlessly. Perfect gradients every time. And they're pretty darn similar, to be honest, and I use them interchangeably, aka whatever is clean. On to the medium crease brush. So this is the MAC 217 of the brush world, right? I hate MAC 217s, they scratch out my eyeballs. But here are some alternatives. So my favorites are the Wayne Goss 06, the Hakuhodo J5523, and the Hakuhodo J142. And the primary difference between these is whether or not it has a pinched ferrule. So a pinched ferrule will give the brush an oval profile. That's the Wayne Goss 06 and the 5523. They have an oval profile. Whereas the 142 doesn't have a pinched ferrule, so the profile is perfectly round. Again, this is another instance where they're all gold standard, and I just pick whatever is clean. Small crease brushes. So we've gone from a large crease brush to medium crease brush to small crease brush. If at any stage I'm speaking about a shape and you think to yourself, I don't really have a place for that in my collection, don't feel compelled to purchase it. I just wanted to show you some of my favorite shapes. So the small crease brush is ideal for small, precise placement. So perhaps deepening the outer V or creating a soft cut crease or even kind of a soft shading across the lower lash line, that sort of thing. Again, we have reoccurring brands like the Wayne Goss, Ray Morris, Hakuhodo. They're all bomb. Flat shader brush. So this is used to pack eyeshadow onto the lid for maximum impact. And I've tried so many from so many different brands, and my favorite is still the MAC 239. This just gets eyeshadow on my lid like nothing else I've ever tried. And it works well for foiling as well. So if you wet the brush and then use a shadow damp to again get more impact. If I wanted to go with something a little bit smaller, I would go with the Ray Morris Lash Line Smudger. Blah, blah, blah. And this one I've actually used today, if perhaps I just wanted a little bit more precision on the lid. Pencil brushes. I only really started using pencil brushes maybe 2 years ago, but now I have such a great appreciation for them. They're great for really heavy lower lash line shading, maybe a little bit of a grunge vibe. They're also really great for tear duct placement, a bit of highlight there, or smudging and diffusing eyeliners. My favorites are the Chikuhodo T8 and the Chikuhodo Z10. The Z10 is perhaps just a touch smaller in size. Both of these are exquisitely soft, which is so crucial because if you take a scratchy brush and you start running it back and forth over your lower lash line and your eyes start to water, it's all over. It's all over, my friend. Eyeliner brushes. If I want to use a fine tip brush for a gel liner, I always go the Ray Morris Deluxe Eyeliner 13. This never ever frays. Like there's not a single hair out of place and it's super slick. So it deposits eyeliner perfectly on the skin. If we're talking more of a soft liner or a smoky liner, or dragging a pencil out into a wing, aka Karima's easiest wing liner technique, which if you've not yet seen, I'll link on the screen. Then I'll go for something a little bit like the Smith 302 or the SUQQU Eyeliner D. These are both slightly angled, but they're not razor sharp. They've just got that little bit more give and softness to them. So as you blend out that pencil, you just get a little bit more of a diffused edge. Actually, I just want to take a moment of appreciation. The Smith Cosmetics detail brushes are phenomenal. They do just such a wide array of angled brushes and small liner brushes. And they just do a really interesting array of detail brushes. Some of the best that I've seen on the market. This is not sponsored, by the way. I'm just passionate about brushes. Tight lining brushes, again, another detail brush. So what I would do is I would take a little bit of gel eyeliner on a teeny tiny flat push brush and push underneath into the bed of the lashes. And that way you'll get that very dense pitch black eyeliner look. Lucky last category, cream eyeshadow brushes. These are essentially small synthetic brushes that can be used for cream eyeshadows on the eye. And to be honest, I own this kind of dome crease brush from brands like Eco Tools, Real Techniques, Zoeva does a bunch, Morphe does some, It Cosmetics does some. Every brand does them. And I'm equally pleased with all of them. I love them all. Those of you who have been requesting a brush video for like 2 years, I made this video for you. I hope that it was worth the wait and I hope that it lived up to all of your expectations. If you're not yet subscribed, that's an alarm. You should subscribe so that we can be friends. Also come say hello to me on Instagram at Karima McKimmie because I'd love to chat to you there. Hope you're having a wonderful day, whatever it is that you're doing, and I will speak to you all very soon. Bye.